Donald Trump has always been a polarizing figure in global politics, but when he makes a threat, you can bet the world's leaders are paying attention. Today, we're diving into how presidents, prime ministers, and even royalty around the globe reacted to Trump's latest fiery statement. From bold speeches to diplomatic maneuvers and even silence loaded with meaning, the responses offer a fascinating glimpse into the current global political climate. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride. Mexico's response: collaboration over confrontation. Let's start in Mexico, where President Andrés Manuel López Obrador wasted no time addressing Trump's threat to impose a 25% tariff on Mexican goods. Speaking at a press conference, he delivered a firm response, emphasizing the deep collaboration between Mexico and the United States in trade, migration, and security. It's worth noting that the U.S. imports over $380 billion worth of goods from Mexico annually, making Mexico its second-largest trading partner. A disruption in this partnership could affect industries from automobiles to agriculture on both sides of the border. She cautioned that such tariffs would invite retaliatory measures and harm both nations' economies. In a pointed letter to Trump, she stated, "Neither threats nor tariffs will solve the issues of migration or drug consumption in the United States. Cooperation and shared understanding are required to face these important challenges." Highlighting Mexico's role in aiding U.S. border control efforts and addressing migration, the president underscored the risks of escalating tensions, urging collaboration instead of confrontation. What many don't realize is that Mexico has been a key partner in intercepting migration flows from Central America, an effort that directly benefits U.S. border security. The proposed tariffs threaten to undermine this crucial cooperation. Her strong tone marked a clear stance against Trump's rhetoric, reflecting Mexico's determination to protect its interests while maintaining its crucial partnership with the U.S. Canada's calculated approach. Moving north to Canada, Trump's threat to impose a 25% tariff on Canadian imports drew swift and calculated reactions. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau underscored the deeply interconnected trade relationship between the U.S. and Canada, highlighting that Canada plays a crucial role in U.S. supply chains, particularly in industries like energy and automotive manufacturing. For example, over 70% of Canada's energy exports go to the U.S., powering American homes and industries. Any tariff disruption would send shockwaves through both nations' economies. Canadian officials, including Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, began strategizing retaliatory measures, drawing on past trade disputes during NAFTA negotiations. Freeland pointed to Canada's resilience during past trade tensions and promised a measured yet firm response that would protect Canadian jobs and industries. Economists warned the proposed tariffs could hurt key Canadian industries while also raising costs for American consumers. Trudeau's government emphasized diplomacy while preparing to defend Canadian interests with strength. Interestingly, during the 2018 U.S.-Canada trade spat, Canadian dairy tariffs became a sticking point, an issue that could resurface under new threats. World leaders and economists are reacting to President-elect Donald Trump's announcement of tariffs on imports from Mexico, Canada, and China, a move he plans to formalize as one of his first executive orders. Trump announced a 25% tariff on goods from Mexico and Canada and a 10% tariff on imports from China, citing border control and economic concerns. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau responded diplomatically, emphasizing a continued collaborative approach to fostering prosperity and job creation between the two nations. Trudeau remarked, "This is a moment to reflect on the strength of our relationship and the value of our shared economic future." The U.S.-Canada trade relationship is the largest in the world, amounting to nearly $1.7 billion in goods crossing the border daily. Such statistics highlight the stakes involved. European leaders. Brace for impact. Across the Atlantic, European leaders began the day bracing for the impact of Trump's foreign policy. With his threats to end military aid to Ukraine and withdraw U.S. support, 4 NATO allies failing to meet defense spending requirements, concern was evident. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky appealed to Trump to maintain support, underlining the critical importance of U.S. assistance in the ongoing conflict with Russia. Without U.S. aid, Ukraine risks losing a key advantage in its resistance against Russian aggression. NATO, too, faces challenges in preserving unity amidst Trump's divisive rhetoric. Shortly after, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov stated he was unaware of any plans by Vladimir Putin to congratulate Trump, referring to the U.S. as an unfriendly country. This reaction reflected the tense relationship between the two nations. In France, the mayor of Paris strongly opposed Trump's potential presidency, describing it as bad news for global democracy, Europe, climate change, women's rights, and Ukraine. Her statement quickly went viral, sparking debates across Europe about the broader implications of Trump's leadership. China's cautious optimism. In Beijing, concerns emerged over Trump's threats regarding tariffs and the dangers of a potential trade war, which could have significant global economic repercussions. Leaders in South America and Mexico also expressed apprehension about Trump's hardline stance on migration and trade, fearing economic and diplomatic disruptions. China, however, appeared to tread cautiously. Having weathered earlier trade wars during Trump's first term, Beijing has learned to pivot its strategies by building stronger trade relationships with countries in Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. This diversification in trade partnerships not only reduces dependence on the U.S., but also positions China as a key player in shaping global supply chains. Diverging reactions among U.S. allies. Not all responses were critical. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu celebrated Trump's political success, calling it a huge victory and a new beginning. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban described Trump's return as the greatest comeback in U.S. political history, underscoring the ideological divide in global reactions. Interestingly, these allies see Trump's leadership style as an opportunity to further their own domestic and international agendas. Netanyahu's comments align with a history of U.S.-Israel partnerships under Trump, including the controversial recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Orban's praise reflects an ideological alignment on nationalism and immigration policies, the global ripple effect. Trump's threats and potential return to power have once again polarized the global stage. From calls for collaboration by Mexico and Canada to vocal opposition in Europe and cautious optimism from allies like Israel and Hungary, the world is watching closely. Trump's polarizing influence on the global stage remains unmatched, pulling allies and adversaries alike into a whirlwind of reactions and countermeasures. What's remarkable is how Trump's rhetoric not only disrupts traditional diplomacy, but also reshapes public discourse in countries across the globe. For millions of people, these policies are more than just political statements. They represent real economic and social consequences, from rising consumer prices to strained international relations. As Donald Trump's words ripple across the globe, the reactions from world leaders underscore just how deeply interconnected and divided our world has become. From calls for cooperation to strategies of resistance and even celebrations, Trump's threats have sparked a global dialogue that reveals the complexities of modern diplomacy. Whether we're looking at trade wars, shifting alliances, or heated debates, one thing's for sure: Trump knows how to keep the world on edge. Stay tuned as we continue to track the fallout and global responses to his controversial policies. Until next time, keep questioning, keep analyzing, and keep watching the world stage unfold.